Xian. The capital of the Shaanxi province in the People's Republic of China. Previously called Chang'an. The walled city of Xian was the cardinal of China for 2,000 years, and known as one of the world's greatest cities. Home to 6,000 terracotta warriors and 11 million people. It has become the 6th most populated city in the country. Xian was a trading hub for over 1,000 years. It served as the starting point of the Silk Road, and became the biggest cosmopolitan city in the world, linking the East and West with economy and culture. One of the routes that were used at that time went across Afghanistan, climbed on the Pamir Mountains, through the Taklamakan Desert, followed the Great Wall to where it all started, Xian. Now, the ancient city of Xian is transforming itself into a modern metropolis, with an impressive setup of commerce, trade, and tourism. Situated at the center of Xian's old city, the Muslim commercial street has developed into a lane of restaurants and stores, thus reviving the Islamic food, tradition, and craft. The street became a place of exquisite Muslim food for centuries, with a wide diversity of tastes and strong ethnic delicacies. During night falls, the Muslim quarter is one of most busiest place in Xian. The street, which features the Ming and Qing architectural style, linked the Memorial Gateway from the north to the Drum Tower in the south, and home to the 1,360-year-old Great Mosque of Xian. The Great Mosque is the largest and best preserved early mosques of China. Combining Islamic culture with Chinese architecture, one can feel the sense of exotic mysteries by being here. This mosque remains a popular tourist site, and it is still used by Muslims today as a place of worship. However, there is another significant mosque with rich historical values, just within a milestone away from here. The Xiao Pi Yuan Mosque. Built in Yuan dynasty of 1312 AD. This mosque had made a tremendous contribution to the Islamic development, as a large number of national achievement scholars were born here. Secluded from the main street, this 700-years-old mosque can only be entered through a small passage, called the Small Leather Street, or Xiao Pi Yuan. This lane is filled with Muslim Hoey residential buildings, which contributed to the existence of the mosque. During the ancient times, scholars all over China came here to study Islam, due to its reputation as a great institution that produced a lot of great religious scholars. According to the famous China's Islamic history, disciples of Hu Dainzhou, a famous Islamic scholar, stayed in this mosque and contributed to the development of Islam in Xian. He trained a small cadre of students, who then took religious education to Hui communities throughout China. He has succeeded in his intention of spreading Islam all over the region, and has become the founder of Mosque Educational Institution. Now, continuing to Dengzhou's legacy, is the mosque's chief imam, Mr. Ma Yunting, or better known as Ustaz Fadil. He pursued study in China Islamic Law Institute, and later on continued training with world-class imam in Al-Azhar University, Egypt. He then became the imam of this mosque since 1980, replacing his father.
这个清真寺的特点就是宫殿式建筑，正如你们刚才所看到的，这个是一个明朝的皇上的玉玺，明朝皇上，这说明是这个政府这个资助的或者是同意在这边建造清真寺。
As seen from the entrance, the whole complex can be divided into 3 courtyards, with central buildings as the main part. The side buildings act as the subordinate. The parts are aligned on an east-west axis, with the prayer hall as the highest hierarchy. Inspired by the mythical flying creature, the phoenix, is where the mosque derived the whole layout of the complex. Where the prayer hall symbolizes the phoenix head, the rest of the supporting buildings are regarded as its body and wings. Xiao Pi Yuan Mosque greets visitors with the beauty of the floral ornamentations on the screen wall, with the natural shrubs and trees blending in together with the building, giving guests a sense of appreciation towards the nature of its surrounding. Behind the screen wall, or Yingbi, is an ablution area and restrooms. It is an addition to the main complex, as it was built 4 decades earlier in the 60s. There are 2 moongates on both sides of the first gateway as it leads to the second courtyard. The moongate, constructed using merely bricks. Its base is reinforced with concrete and mortar of clay and mud, to create a more durable structure. Its circular shape is a symbol of perfection to the Chinese, as the famous saying, "Flowers are beautiful when the moon is full." Accessible from the first courtyard, through moongates, is the second courtyard. The symmetrical layout plan of the mosque reflects on the interior itself, whereas each room are identical to each other, on both sides. Similar, but serve different purpose. The Mosque Management Center on the south side is where the administrative discussions are made among the mosque committees. And the Imam trainee room on the opposite side, where the apprentices of the Imam will be given guidance and developed throughout time. Standing in front of the second gateway, one can glimpse at the third courtyard, known as the Bluestone Yard. Compared to previous courtyard, it is more lively, since it is landscape oriented. At the third yard, the symmetry plan of the mosque creates this path, which follows the center axis. This path here is known as the road to royalty. The pergola structure in this courtyard was not part of the original structure. It was an addition to enhance the landscape beauty in the mosque about 20 years ago. At the end of the pergola lies a carved royal stamp done during the Ming dynasty. It is given to the mosque as recognition, to allow the Muslim to fully utilize the mosque without any disruption. This marks the approval of the Ming Emperor to the Muslim community in Xian. Chinese ancient architecture is clearly shown by the roof form, which pictures a curve with full aesthetic sense, and dances with graceful melody. It becomes the most eye-catching one among all constitution parts. The structural system is simply designed to hold the dead weight of the curved roof, as it is supported by the bracket system, Dougong. Multiple interlocking bracket sets are formed by placing a double bow-shaped arm, gong, which supports a block of wood on each side. These combination supports the beam and withhold the above roof structure against the world's deadliest natural disaster, the earthquake. Located at the place with the highest degree of seismic destruction, it is the Dougong bracket system that helped this ancient mosque to stand intact for hundreds of years, as it is highly resistant to earthquakes. It could hold the wood roof formation together by offering a shock-absorbing capacity, thus making the structure flexes and letting the force pass by without any harm. As the users enter from the main entrance, they would utilize the path through the gateways, passing through each courtyard to get to the main prayer hall. On the other hand, West Lane users use the rear moon door as their alternative way into the mosque. It is a norm for people to come to the mosque on foot or by bicycle. They would take their ablution and march straight towards the main prayer hall, waiting for the azan to be called. After the azan, the people perform their voluntary prayer first, before praying congregationally. They would once again perform sunnah prayer, before exiting the prayer hall, ready to continue their commitment to the world. The prayer hall is covered by a gable roof with an overhang, combining a hip roof with double eaves. The heights of the roofs are kept proportional to the depth of the space. As visitors enter the main prayer hall, they will be welcomed with unique doors that consist of 3 layers of carved panels. The lattice work panel on the door were designed with geometrical Hui patterns. The doors are designed with a complicated but beautiful wooden structural frames. Unfolded 3,000 years ago, it is an efficiently functional makeup of mortise and tenon principle. It is the focus of this ceremonial layout, comprised of an elongated porch with a projected Qibla bay. There are 54 durable columns, which are the main vertical structural members that supports only the dead weight of the fabulous hip roof. The columns are made by the cuts of Phoebe Nanmu timber as the core, and enclosed by the encased column technique. This kind of timber is said to be able to withstand water erosion for thousands of years. The prayer hall occupies an area of 432 square meters. It can accommodate approximately 700 people at one time. The prayer hall is equipped with beautifully decorated walls, inlaid with Quranic verse from floor to ceiling. It is also veneered with carvings of floral patterns in between. The indoor furniture, which includes the mimbar, where the imam stands to deliver khutbah, is decorated with similar designs applied to the wall. On the same wall lies an important map, a Mecca journey guide for the local Chinese Muslims, as told by the guardian of this very own mosque, Haji Umar.
这个地图啊，这叫在我们中国就叫西行回归图。西行回归图就是从中国到卡尔版，到麦加去的一个图子。这是我们的先辈从阿拉伯或者是波斯来的时候带来的。
It is the lattice works, carving workmanship, and color coding of floral motifs that contribute to the elegance and significance of the interior prayer hall. Another astounding feature is the ventilation system. This cooling system works by having some direct vent holes from the outside of the walls and below the timber wood floor. The outside air would flow in and cools the air below the timber floor. As this process continues, eventually, the whole above space's temperature would be reduced, thus significantly cooling the interior atmosphere. Red, green, blue, and gold are the common colors of Chinese architecture, based on the traditional beliefs that these colors influence the occupants' fortunes. Covering this prayer hall is a featured ceiling called the Zhao Jing, often layered and richly decorated. It is a sunken panel, raised above through the use of Dougong structure. Supporting 4 extended ridge of the hip roof, it is often referred to as Thunder God Post, according to Chinese mythology. The elegance and uniqueness of the interior part of the main prayer hall is able to give an exceptional spiritual experience to the people inside. One would be able to feel a soothing calmness, dedicating their daily religious rituals, thus making each person feeling closer to the Almighty. "53 columns, as the vertical structure bears the astounding roof. with wooden doors and walls as space definers, while Dougong bracket system hold the roof position intact. Tie beams with layers of purlin beams supports roof tiles and rafters, while blue glazed tiles enhance the color. All these elements defines the marvelous Chinese architecture. Over the years, this mosque has been influencing and improving the people's social life through neighborhood joint efforts and activities. It also involves younger generations. For instance, Halima, or better known as Sunru, is one of the aspiring descendants of Hui community.
The relatives, they live together, very near. So if you have most time they go to the house, they just sitting, chatting like that. The everyday daily life is like this. Yeah, it's no special, just chatting, go around different house, different people. All is friend here, the people, they know each other. During the Ramadan, every day the breakfasting, they have to cook. In the mosque, they provide the food for the breaking the fasting, so they work together.
This mosque has become a valuable instrument, capable of achieving the type of community as precisely portrayed by the Quran.
因上了，祈求安拉给我们好，也给你好的念头。我们希望通过我们真主给的那个tawfiq，祈求真主保护我们的信仰，把我们伊斯兰教门保护下来。我们用我们的这个学问呀，用我们的知识来传播伊斯兰教门。因上了。